Welcome, everybody, to the LIPSEY'S Aim Higher podcast. Across from me, Jason Kloster and Dale Luke, I'm Rob Abruzzino, and we've got a brand new product to talk about today. I'll let you introduce it, Jason. What do we have here?
It is the new SIG P365 X-Macro.
X-Macro.
Yep.
And
so they took the 365 and they started making it a little bit bigger.
So this platform just keeps expanding and expanding. It's a winner. It's
becoming
winner.
its own animal.
It really
is really
is.
what it is.
It could branch off into its own brand practically.
Yeah, pretty much.
It really has.
We got some range time with it, which we'll talk about. But I guess, where do you guys want to start with it? We got to shoot it. We've got one in house. We've got some comparisons. So I'll let you guys kind of kick it off and talk about some of the highlights, I guess, to start with.
Yeah, shooting it, with the comp slide that's on it. The barrel's not ported at all. It's just the slide itself. You don't get the traditional noise that you would from a ported gun because the blast is already at the end of the barrel.
Right.
You're just redirecting it. There's no muzzle rise on this gun whatsoever. Very, very easy to shoot.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's talk about what it is first of all.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
First of all, what they did is take the 365 XL size frame and made it less than half an inch, a little bit longer. And so now, instead of having a 12+1 capacity, it's a 17+1 capacity.
Which is amazing.
It's amazing. I mean, whoever's in charge of the magazine design at SIG, they earn their paycheck every month. Because I tell you, that they figured out a way to cram 17 rounds in a magazine that's not that only, I think, a half inch longer than the XL mag. So
it's deceiving when you hold it or it's in your hand to think that it has that kind of round capacity. You wouldn't guess it.
And they didn't increase the width of the gun nor the magazine either.
Right.
So really, that to me is the cool part about this whole deal. Now you've got basically full size duty size gun capacity in a very small package.
Without the full size gun.
Without the full size gun. Matter of fact, I've got some dimensions and stuff we'll go over in a minute. So they paired that with the Spectre Comp style slide. So it's got a 3.1 inch traditional SIG 365 length barrel, but with the internal comp slide.
That Dale was talking about.
And Dale was talking about. Yeah. Optics ready, obviously. They did a great improvement there. Now you can access the screws from the top of the slide instead of having to take the slide off and go from underneath. It's much better there. They also added the rear sight is not integral to the back plate, so you can have a rear sight independent of the optic. And then lastly, they added a 1913 rail to the front of the slide instead of the proprietary 365 slide. So a lot easier to put accessories, lights, lasers, whatever you want on there.
Right.
Last little feature is it does have interchangeable back straps as well.
Right.
So now you can change you got a small, medium, and a large. One of the complaints about the original 365 and 365 XL is that it was a little too small for some people.
Right.
So they actually be able to make it a little bit bigger is a plus. Usually it's the other way around. People want to try to make their grip frame smaller. This actually, you can make it a little bit bigger, makes it even easier to shoot.
Right.
So all in all, great effort by SIG here to make a really useful iteration of the 365 family.
So these 365, there's a lot of horses in the stable now. So I guess we could talk about too how to pick and choose. You just mentioned, the original 365 is very compact.
Yes.
This is slightly bigger. We've got a few variations and versions of it now. So maybe let's walk through a few of these and how this compares to the other two as far as what you're looking for, your style of carry, and how to fit, I guess, a 365, because it's undoubtedly one of the very best carry guns available on the market.
Yeah.
So how to pick, I guess, based on your preferences.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with your region in the U.S. for concealed carry. If it's very warm, such as down here, you're probably more likely to go with.
You have the XL, right?
I do have the XL, and
right.
That's what I carry every day. And Jason carries the standard 365. But as the seasons get a little cooler and clothing gets a little bit bigger, you're able to expand a little bit on what you can carry.
Right.
Now, in the South, this is still a very, very carryable gun. In the dead of summer, you can definitely do that, either appendix or right or left-handed belt holster, depending on how you shoot.
Right.
But still, all in all, it would really be a hard choice.
What do you think, Jason? So
Well,
you carry the standard version.
I do. I have an XL as well. I like the standard one because that gun is still small enough you can pocket or ankle carry that gun as well, so it's very versatile there. I actually shoot my standard one better in my XL, which is weird, but that's why I just stuck with it. However, this new X-Comp macro, that kind of changes the game because now you go from a 10 or 12 round to a 17+1 capacity.
Right.
This gun you could carry. I don't care what your wardrobe is. You can dress around this gun and have 18 rounds on tap. That's huge. I mean, that's you're talking about a gun that's smaller than a 3-inch K frame that holds as many rounds in the gun as you would with a loaded revolver and 2 extra speed loaders.
It's as high a capacity as really you're going to find.
It's duty. It's Glock 17 capacity or SIG, X or full size 320 capacity. So to give you a few little specs on what we're talking about, the differences here, I kind of wrote down a few things to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So
show notes.
Jason was
very
did my homework.
He does his homework.
I never do
studies.
Homework. Yeah, so I'm usually forget all about it. So the new X-Macro, the overall length of that gun is 6.6 inches, which is the same as the 365 XL.
Yeah.
So a regular 365 is 5.8. Not a huge difference there. And really the barrel length is usually not the critical part for concealment anyways. But to give you some perspective, the SIG X-Carry 320, which is a 17-round magazine gun, it's 7.4 inches overall length. So it's almost a full inch
longer,
Yeah. And the gold standard of 9mm pistols, the Glock 19, is 7.36 inches overall length. So it's overall length, it's shorter. The overall height, this is probably the dimension most people are probably curious about. So on a regular standard 365, the original gun, it's 4.3 inches, pretty dang short.
Mm-hmm.
The XL is 4.8 inches long. The macro is 5.2, so that is 0.4 inches taller with a 5-round capacity increase.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah. Where do the rounds go?
Yeah. So that
Right.
that kind of gives you the perspective right there.
Yeah.
So basically you have even the XL with the extended 15-round magazine is going to be longer than the macro with the 17-rounder.
Yeah.
There you go. So and for comparison's sake, the overall height of the SIG 320 X-Carry, which has a 17-round magazine, is 5.5 inches, so it's a little bit longer. And a Glock 19 is 5.04 inches. So the macro and the Glock 19 are, for all practical purposes, the same overall height. So if you can carry a Glock 19, you can carry this gun. The overall width, it's 1.1 inches wide, just like the regular 365, the regular 365 XL. Just for comparison's sake, the X-Carry SIG 320 is 1.3. The Glock 19 is 1.26. So obviously it's going to be a little bit narrower,
thinner,
which doesn't sound a lot. That's a huge difference.
Sure.
Weight. So the original 365 with an empty magazine is 17.8 ounces. An XL is 20.7 ounces. The macro is 21.5 ounces.
Wow.
So basically 1 ounce heavier than an XL.
Yeah.
Now, once you load the gun, it's obviously going to be
you have 5 more rounds.
Whatever 5 more rounds of 9mm weighs, that's going to be a difference.
Right.
So for comparison's sake, a 320 X-Carry is 27 ounces, and a Glock 19 is 23.6 ounces.
Wow.
So when you compare the macro to a 320 X-Carry, the same capacity, pretty good bit difference in both size, weight, and just overall footprint.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So a lot going for it there. Now, where you do lose compared to a 320 or the Glock 19 or the XL is in your barrel length. You only have a 3.1-inch barrel.
Right.
But if you have an XL, you can put an XL slide on the macro.
Yeah, we were playing with that earlier.
Yeah, which we did. Yeah.
Yeah. So if for some reason you're just, man, I don't like comps and I want a little bit longer barrel to get that little bit of extra velocity, that you can still cobble together. It's the same 365 fire control unit on the macro as it is on the XL and the standard gun. So a lot of versatility there. It's a Lego system. You can play around with it.
Right.
And you do gain, a little bit of velocity, XL versus this one. We did put them through the chronograph, and I think we came out to about 50 feet per second more.
Yeah, 50 to 60 feet per second for the XL versus both the macro and a regular 365. And that was with standard pressure, 124 grain V crown SIG ammo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of shooting it, let's talk a little bit about that, actually shooting the gun. I know you guys were both really impressed with the the handling of it, the recoil of it, the grip. I know you mentioned for guys that are slightly bigger hands as opposed to kind of the regular 365, and how this might be the ticket for that style shooter. So
yeah, I mean the grip itself is a lot more contoured for the average shooter. The 365, both the XL and the standard, have more of a vertical grip feel to it. This is a little more contoured, and that has to do with the interchangeable back straps. And you can see on the magazine itself how it's kind of canted to follow the contour of the grip itself, and the feel is phenomenal. It really is. It shot lights out.
Yeah, the comp really does work well on that gun. Like Dale said earlier, I didn't see an increase in any kind of noise or anything like that. We were shooting in daylight, so any kind of flash or anything. But most of your defensive ammo is all going to be flash retardant powders these days, anyways. But the gun itself shot extremely flat. I mean, making transitions and stuff like that, it was pretty dang easy. It felt a lot like shooting kind of like a full size 380, really, kind of to me.
Right. Yeah. Like. Recoil wise, there was hardly any. It was almost like shooting a full size 9mm. It wasn't like you were shooting a subcompact 9.
Oh,
no, at all.
No,
it was really, really smooth and
no. That grip being that it's a little bit more back into it with the new grip panels and stuff. It really felt good in the hand. I don't know what they did, man, to get this thing the way they did, but they really did a good job on this gun. We were kind of talking after we were eating lunch, and we're kind of like, gosh, where does this squeeze the XL? Because it's not that much bigger, but it's got so much more features to it. And if you have an XL, would this be a worthy upgrade if you already had an XL? And I have to say yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Upon thinking about it, it really is that much. If you got, let's say, 1 or 2 more rounds in it, I don't know, maybe not.
Right.
5 rounds. That's pretty meaningful. I mean, that's basically a 365 XL and a J frame.
Right.
you just combined the 2 guns into one.
Right.
Capacity wise. So I think it's worthy to add to the edition.
What the ceiling seems limitless on this 365 platform. They just keep, as I said earlier, expanding it. Where can this go? What do you guys think is the future for this? I mean, they're covering a lot of bases. This is a huge leap forward with this round count in this gun. I mean, what's left for this?
I mean, you can
just pure speculation.
Pure speculation pulling out of the air. We are not engineers by any stretch of the mind. So, with the full length rail that's on it, you could probably extend the barrel, maybe even longer than an XL. And push that slide a little bit past the frame.
It would be pretty easy to do a 4-inch barrel. On that gun.
Yeah,
that's really, honestly, I don't think they can go any smaller.
Yeah,
shorter wise.
Really, I think that the standard 365 is probably about as small as you'd want to go.
Right.
But you could, in theory, go a little bigger, because you're still keeping that 1-inch wide plat width. So what SIG's been able to do is take something that's traditionally considered thin and small for a compact gun and apply it to a full-size gun.
Right.
Where it's just as shootable as a 320 or one of the myriads of polymer frame double stack 1 1/4 inch wide type duty pistols, but keep that narrow platform that makes carrying it inside the waistband or appendix, or somebody who's a smaller handed shooter or whatever, to have that ability to have that high capacity, easy to shoot platform, but in still a small, thin envelope there. So I really think they could potentially go a little bigger with it. The good thing is, with the way that SIG did the fire control unit, really the slides and the barrels and the frames are all
They're all modular, yeah.
Pieces that you can just kind of mix and match, and I think a lot of people will end up finding what the sweet spot is for them. I think a lot of people are going to end up throwing an XL slide on a macro.
Yeah.
On a macro, they may take the macro ported slide and stick it on their XL frame. I mean, it's just whatever works for you. That's really kind of a neat thing what SIG's done here.
So what's your final thoughts on this? What's your final thoughts on someone considering, one of these 365s now with the macro in the mix?
It's you can't beat the capacity. You really can't. And Jason and I were talking at the range. He said you get one of these macros along with a standard 365, have one strong side, one ankle. Dude, you're covered.
You're covered.
That is a lot of firepower and one extra magazine, and you can let her rip.
Yeah.
And it's something. It's a game changer.
What do you think, Jason? What's your closing argument here?
Yeah, if you are invested in the 365 platform, the macro, I believe, is a very good addition. It offers a lot of positives and really, in my opinion, no negatives.
Right.
I told the guys at SIG, I can't wait till you got to come out with a slightly extended 20-round magazine. I mean, think about it. Now you could have a gun that's so small and pretty much be a 21-round gun. That would be awesome.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I'm really interested to see what they're going to do next with this. But I really think that now the envelope has been pushed even a little bit further by SIG with this capacity thing.
Yeah.
Can they retrofit that into prior models and stuff? I don't know.
Right.
So that'd be pretty cool to see.
Undoubtedly will be as hot as every 365 that comes out. These things are always a game changer. So if you want to learn more, check out LIPSEY'sGuns.com. Go to LIPSEY'S.com as well. You can find us on all the social medias at LIPSEY'S Gun on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, we have a video shooting these things.
Absolutely, and we're gonna incorporate that as well. So and we've got some more cool stuff coming quickly. The fall's shaping up very nicely.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, aim higher.